But isn't programming dreary and monotonous? Programming is only boring when it's taught wrong, and it only ever gets repetitive when you stop inventing. You have to build your own side projects. It is the only way to really learn for sure. Working for somebody else is pretty awesome, but you can't really count on anybody. The world changes too quickly to bet on retirement. You have to invent your own way forward, one that you can trust. All your future belongs to you, and only you can take really good care of it. Zonking out on easy paychecks will eat decades of your life and prevent you from properly learning and innovating to great heights. You have to make all of your years count, and for all your future, by inventing, by learning, and adding to your existing knowledge in such a way that you can build on it for all your future yet to come. Where in school a teacher may begin with nonsense about UI patterns, that is, if you are lucky, and it is nonsense because that's not where you begin. You begin at creating marvels, not some dry textbook stuff that will only push you away from programming. In self-education, you begin by building your own operating system. Seriously, it's really easy. Yeah, it does take a while to do it the first time around as you are learning which pieces to piece together. But you will always remember that summer or winter as the time you have built your first operating system. Eventually, your code will become much smaller and much wiser. Today, PouchDB can give you documents, which are objects that can hold other, much smaller and related objects. PouchDB is open source. It's actually a really simple program, and part of its charm is that it will teach you how to build your own version or your own flavor because of how simple it is. It's quite nice. Think of the most basic object in PouchDB as just having a content property and a file name property. Here, you are inventing a file. Give it an element array, and you can have a file that is also a folder. Or you can cram a bunch of nested properties and other objects inside and treat the entire document as a cool virtual hard disk. It is trivial to convert your local files to objects that PouchDB can use and then jam them up with bulk docs function, probably just as a JSON document. You take a file, you take the file name and the file content, you put it inside an object and send it up to PouchDB. Add code mirror, and now you have a code editor with a tiny little and very cute file system. If you follow the Plan 9 operating system strategy, where everything is a file, and say to yourself, hey, everything is a PouchDB document, all it takes to control your entire system is a simple file manager. When the windows on your screen are just PouchDB documents, You just add a new document to PouchDB to open a new window. How cool is that? And if multiple computers are logged in, then after PouchDB synchronizes with your central CouchDB and automatically distributes all the data, what you got here is a powerful self-synchronizing web operating system. If you like learning Linux, set your CodeMirror code editor to Vim mode, to practice the keys. And before you create the file manager, use Xterm.js to create a neat terminal for yourself. You can add commands to manage all your PouchDB data. It's just CRUD. Create, read, update, delete. Won't take much. And like above, you can open Windows by just creating new PouchDB documents with some cool commands that you coded up for the command line. This is not boring. This is incredibly powerful self-education that is bursting with color. Unless you're into fantasy user interfaces like I am, where everything looks military-like. But I love it. And it does look amazing in your portfolio to have built an operating system with command line, file manager, little apps, little dashboards. Oh my gosh, that could take several pages and it all would be fascinating. People would be asking you to give speeches about it. How did you overcome file nesting? Like, did you use a tree, a graph? Did you use PouchDB views? Were they performant enough? Did you go with a custom thing? People love answers to questions like that. Altogether, creating a tiny little operating system brings you to a gateway of a much larger business, where other coders can sell apps on your platform. It's just svelte components, very cool, very easy. You take a small percent from many. People doing the programming will take a bunch from one or two. And your users will be happy to get the apps they want. Here, they can use drag and drop builders to further customize their stuff. And professionals would love it too, as it just generates standard programming code indistinguishable from what programmers usually write, especially after you send it through a transpiler. There's something unusual about operating systems. They are the ultimate boilerplate code, where everything is all set up and laid out, and all you need to do is just sit down and put the code together. You don't have to go wondering about libraries and databases. It's all right there. People love that kind of thing. They can just create what they need and move on, or add more. My favorite spin on these ideas where people are creating things is to let the saving of data work the same way that Wikipedia works, or that paste bins or code bins work. This way, you don't have to worry about creating usernames, not at first anyways, and all the other stuff, like accounts and profiles. You can just let people come into the website, open up this client-side operating system, and peck away at their keyboard. And when they press save, they will get a unique ID of some file that is publicly accessible, but it's very unique so that no one can guess it. And then they can bookmark it and come back later. And if they need professional extensions, apps that actually cost money to run, then you charge them a few dollars a month. Because it is all just generated code. Your users in this second-level operating system will be able to make web applications or web services and host them on their own without the need for your servers. It's just standard code. That is a really good way to gain new users because people get something that they don't get anywhere else. In the real world of programming, you are always learning brilliant and colorful things, always inventing, creating, and innovating. There is nothing boring about programming. It is all really interesting. It is all a brand new dimension of art.